Hey everybody, I'm Andy Smith. I'm a 30-year comic book veteran, having worked for Marvel Comics, DC Comics, Image Comics, Cross Generation, Ominous Press. You name it, I've probably worked for them. And I do other things art-wise outside of comics in the field of advertising. I've also written some books on drawing comics you might have seen. Drawing American manga superheroes, Drawing Dynamic Comics was my first book. And I also did the handy little How to Draw Superhero sketchbook where all you need is a pencil because you do all the work right inside the book. Enough about that. This is the Book Look series. The Book Look series is where I grab a book off my library. You can see the tons of books I have behind me. And I go through it page by page with you so you can see if it's a book that you might want to buy. I like to know what I want to buy before I buy it, and I feel this is a way to give you some insight into these books. So join me for today's book look. Thanks. What's up, everybody? It is Andy Smith, your host with the most, with another book look. This book look is on a how to draw book called WHOOSH, 250 Ways to Get Motion into Your Drawing. I bought this when it came out a few years back. Of course, I'll post the link in the description below if it's something you want to buy. Before I get to that, I usually save the Kor-Drath stuff for the end, but I'm so excited. This week, the trading card, the beautiful Lilith trading card is here in the house, front and back. Look at that. If you signed up early and back that you get one for free. If you want to get one, it is $5 and free shipping. The Kor-Drath, The Reckoning mini print of the homage cover in the house. You can still get this for $10 or buy the variant cover of the book. And of course, every backer gets one of these. The character cards, Kor-Drath, Adriana, Lilith, the Necronite, the Shattered Reach map. Every backer gets one, and these character cards are playable. Look at that, all their beautiful stats on the back. So if you back the book, these are coming to you free as well. Collectible, oversized character cards that you can play with the Kor-Drath game. Stats are easily convertible. Link in the description below. Let's get to WHOOSH. All right, guys. When did this book come out? Let's see. Carlos Gomez Cabral. I'm probably butchered that, but hopefully not. That's a pretty cool drawing of that superhero dude. This book came out in, drumroll, 2016. So not that old. Published by Quarto Inc. So, okay. So let's go through this, shall we? It's, most of these books, 144 pages. This one is, let's see, 128. So, all right, let me just back this up just a little bit. There we go. All right. Welcome to my world. A little bit about the author. He's going into things about the books. 250 plus ways Carlos shares his concise toolkit of expert tips and tricks for getting motion into your drawings. Artist drawings, Carlos applies the tips to varied subjects, scenes, and characters so that you can see art theory in action. And there's guest artists as well. Nice, man after my own heart. Guest artist. Okay. Stuff you need to know. So there is some how to draw stuff in this book. If you're going, shouldn't you know this? You sound surprised. Like I say, guys, I pull these things off my shelf. I haven't looked at this book in years. I eyed it up on my shelf and was like, I think I'll look at it. So for you guys. So nice. Goes into drawing the features, mouth, stuff like that. Ears. Hair. I don't know what I'll have to Google about this artist because besides this book, I don't really remember or can recall if he's, actually worked in comics or not. I mean, I would guess textures, going into some figure drawing, which is always cool. He doesn't do a deep dive, but he does enough, you know, to get the point across. I like the simple shapes he's got going on here. And then, of course, talking about some lighting, and that's actually pretty cool looking. Way showing lighting in gray, not black, so you still see the black outline. Now he's going into basic types of movement, and you can see he's clocking through. He's got to get to 250, yo. I really honestly don't remember if there were things in here that when I first looked through it, I was like, oh, that's cool. I've never done that before. I'm sure there was, and maybe when we get to it, we'll see. Let's see. Halftones, he's talking about some cross-hatching here. Different ways to do cross-hatching. So demystifying light. Lighting can definitely screw people up, but you just, you know, sometimes it's not as hard as it can be led to be. Here, this is cool because it shows some different lighting examples and stuff, showing how to cast shadows. Of course, you got to do perspective, so he talks about perspective. Very nice, concise chunks here, doing the explanations. I think that's cool. This is like a nice handy guide for like everything, you could say. So if you're like, oh, I forgot perspective something, you could just pick this up and look through it. Bodies in perspective. This is backwards. I think this basic figure stuff should have been back where that other figure stuff was, but that's okay. Let's see, how many heads do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 heads. Now, it's funny, I've seen people do 8-head high figures like this, and I've also seen it where the 8th head isn't at the bottom of the feet, but at the ankles as well. So it's like 8 and, you know, almost a half. So it varies. Varies depending on artist. A nice little musculature breakdown here. Nice chunkiness with the lighting. Kind of reminds me of Bridgman. Talks about bending and twisting. You know, back anatomy, arm anatomy. So, you know, it's not an overall, once again, figure drawing book, but it gives you the basics for it. So like I said, it's a good book, I think, to have just next to your desk for quick reference. And so is Drawing Dynamic Comics by your host with the most. That's me. Another good one to have next to your desk. And, of course, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. Talking about line of action and things like that. Uses shadows to reinforce position, which is true. I mean, now you know he's above the ground. You know, here you can see a better idea of the sense of how far he is above the bar and things like that. So, oh, here we go. Guest artist. Wow, Laura Braga. Laura is a fantastic artist. So, wow, I totally forgot that she was one of the guest artists in here. She's a phenomenal artist. She's from Italy. Back when we did Ominous Press 4 or 5 years ago, we actually had her draw a character card for us. Nice little questions and answers here, and then some of her tips. She's known for drawing very pretty women. I would definitely give her a follow on Instagram. Great movement in here that she's doing. Another guest artist, Dennis Jones. Very cartoony, very cool looking. Let's see, he says, a talent which earned me the Platinum Book Award and fans around the world for my original Read With Me children's Bible. So that's pretty cool. You know, hopefully in the back of the book, he gives these guys their social media stuff so you can follow them. I mean, it's easy with Google these days. You'd probably find this guy in 2 seconds, but what do we have here? Humanize your character, section 2. That is awesome, by the way. That's probably a guest artist, but that is freaking awesome. And that's pretty nice, too. It looks more like a teenage superhero with those proportions. Not necessarily a what I would do for an adult. Facial expressions. connect the pieces, mastering expressions. Every good drawing book has something on expressions, but it's nice because once again, it's you know, if you're starting out, it's a nice guide. Either look in the mirror or just pick this up and look at the different things. Wow, we're almost up to the halfway point of his 250 things there. That's really cool expression. I like this guy's art style. Show the physical state, smile with eyes, symbolism. I mean, that's for pretty cartoony stuff. Probably wouldn't work in a regular comic. And of course, body language has a lot to do with things to get the emotion across. The body itself can tell a story. You can see here, there's no expressions on any of these faces, but each one of these figures tells a little story because of the body language. Contextualize the reaction. Even when we are facing imminent danger, our senses make us react in different ways, according to the context of the situation. For instance, it's common to run away from a fire while we would hold a static pose with our hands raised in front of us to face down an armed thug, if afraid that he'd shoot the gun. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Or you just run away from the thug like that. Point is, I get what he's saying. Very Joker-esque here. So nice little, just more tips. This is all, the tips in this section are for, you know, figure drawing and such. And what different poses mean and can convey. Uh-oh, bow chicka wow wow. Break the bubble. When we let someone invade our virtual protection zone, we become vulnerable and may be captivated by the intense feeling that this intimate contact can stimulate. There are several ways to represent this graphically, although they vary according to the character's motivations, intentions, ages, and the stage and nature of the relationship. Keep one thing in mind, though. Love is universal. Oh, you see, this book cares, too. Designing characters. Cool. Nice tips. Be consistent. Obviously, when you're designing a specific character, you want to do a turnaround. And for the head, you don't need to do a back view of the head, but a front and 3/4. I would also recommend a profile are good. Flipping your drawings will help you see some mistakes in them, so that's always good practice. So far, all these tips, and I'm not obviously reading every one to you, but I haven't seen any as I gloss over this that I disagree with. I love this. This totally reminds me of the main man from The Honeymooners. For you youngins, that was a great TV show back in the day. I love this cartoony stuff. That's so great. Cartoony, you can kind of see a basic shape of it. Goes into some wrinkles and stuff. Very nice. What do we have here? Applying swooping lines. I mean, yeah, this is cool. He's standing there. He's tough. He's like, yeah, you do this, kind of like the title of the book, whoosh. It does add a little bit of movement to it. Now, and I know why he didn't do it, but this kid's hair looks pretty long. So if you're going to whoosh the cape in this direction, maybe have his hair going that way too. Once again, for his drawing of this for the book, I know why he didn't. It was just, you know, working on layers. Think about posture, you know, nice tight hero pose. Look at me, I'm a hero. And then, hey, hey. Cool flying pose and stuff. Dynamic hands, suggested speed through posture. This is definitely more relaxed flying. This is really urgent with speed and stuff. Stylization, very cool. Noir styles usually are very heavy with black shadows for contrast and lighting and shading and stuff. Experimenting with shapes, that's really cool. He goes a little bit into manga and the cross-hatching and the different things that make something manga. compare realism versus cartoony. So that's pretty cool. When cartooning, usually you can do simple shapes like a nice sphere with the center lines to pop the features on and stuff, and it works great. I got to admit, I kind of wish I would have looked at this book sooner. I tell you, it's probably been 4 years since I've looked at this book. It's one of the things I enjoy about doing these book looks with you guys. It gives you a chance to look at a book you've never seen, and it gives me a chance and an excuse to go through a book I haven't looked at in a while as well. Okay, so this is cool. Check this out. Now, this book was out 2016. I'd like to Google and see what she's up to these days. Brittany Myers, guest artist. My name's Brittany Myers. I'm currently a high school senior. This book came out in 16. It was written in 2015, most likely. So she was probably a high school senior in 2015. She's attending Cal Arts for character animation. High school senior, this kid has it going on. A high school senior doing stuff like this is phenomenal work. I don't know if she even would need to have gone to school. So, you know, if she's a high school senior, 2015, that means she was probably born late 90s. So she, anyhow, like 17. So yeah, she likes working digitally. Makes sense. She loves Glenn Keane. You can definitely tell. Yeah, I am definitely going to have to look up this person because this is phenomenal work for a senior. Jonathan Hill, another fun cartooning. He lives in Portland, graduated from the Savannah College of Art and Design in 2003, and has been freelancing as a cartoonist. God, I would have to ask Renee if she knows this person. They might have overlapped in school because she went there as well. So, very nice style there. All right, section 3, movement and life. Up to tip 149. Cool. He goes into foreshortening. Very important to make dynamic figures to get that three-dimensional effect with limbs and bodies and even objects coming at you. This is cool here. Arm in perspective. So, you know, arms here, fist ends here, elbows here. This kind of works, rotating it to do this. So that's pretty cool. Involve your audience in the action, which is true. This is fine for a running pose, but you're disconnected from it. It's a low eye level. That doesn't really matter. It's just you're disconnected from it. You're like, oh, look at that guy running. Here, you're like, holy crap, it's coming right at me. Interesting. I wonder if he drew this, because this is obviously Venom and Spider-Man. Wait a second. What's this author's name again? Carlos. I wonder if in comics, because there's a Carlos Gomez, Gomez. I wonder if this is him. Because I can't imagine he pulled something he didn't draw from a Marvel book. I don't know. Time for a deep dive. This is great. Getting more cartoony and flexible. Exaggeration. Obviously really cartoony. But you go from this, which is natural, to this, which is a lot more exaggerated and works better. And like he says, even the teeth. I remember Adam Kubert, one of my favorite artists on Wolverine. He does this a lot, and I just love it. It's like the teeth are just, oh, they won't fit in the skull, but who cares? Look how cool that is. Very nice exaggerations of the figures there. That's cool. Yeah, that's definitely wrong. I broke my neck. So even if you're exaggerating, please be aware of limits and stuff. really nice stuff here to study, and I do like how he's doing the gray tones like this. Varying the way somebody walks. Once again, that goes back to posture. You know, I'm not sure that would count as a number out of the 250 because to me, it just goes back to body movement and posture, but that's okay. He said 250, and darn it, he's doing 250. Very nice movement with this figure. Great cartoony baby. Nice twist here on this figure with the dress. All this stuff really is helping to show movement and such. Well, howdy, partner. Very important here with the guidelines. When I draw a figure, I always think about the shoulders and the hips trying to go in different ways. Unless it's supposed to be very static, then they're parallel, but not many people are like that. Dynamic hands. Hands are very tough. I do remember he does a very nice job of breaking them down right here, showing the different large masses and how they wrap around, like right here. And then just showing different expressions of the hand and stuff. And, you know, he's just basically giving tips on things. I mean, I like this. Exploit the little finger. A cup of tea with the little finger out. You know, you probably wouldn't want to do that with like a Thanos or something because it might make him look weak, but it is a nice and expressive. Different things here with the hands. Female hands, always nice and clean. Got to remember. Powerful action. Lines of action and stuff to really get it across. Nice rough to this. I like that, showing a little bit of the underdrawing to where you get to that. I'm not sure why he stiffened this up. This looks the same, but here the body's totally angling this way, but then here he's up and down. So it could be he was like that, and then they had to tweak it to fit this in the design part of the book. Would not surprise me. You know, spreading the legs, of course, shoulders dynamics, swivel the hips, all very good stuff. Use templates. It can be hard task to make several action poses within a scene consistently good. However, there are established movements that you can reuse to great effect. Over time, you will find what works for you. Oh, yeah, I see what he's saying. It's like, you know, I'm sure I have a specific pose that, and I try to get away from this, somebody running that you go, oh, that's the way. Like John Romita Jr., when he draws somebody running, you can definitely tell. Same with John Byrne, things like that. Animal movement, guest artist, by Donna Lee. Okay, so yeah, guest artist here who probably specializes in doing animals and stuff. So many great books on drawing animals. Once again, line of action and things like that. Here's a guest artist, Elisa Ferrari. Let's see. She's an Italian comic artist based in Verona. Love drawing. Various artists at my first works. Now I'm working as a freelance illustrator and comic artist, mainly for publishing in Italy. That's cool. Nice pseudo-realistic, cartoony type style here. I'm so glad he did guest artist. I think that's really cool. Louis de Crevel from Australia. Okay, cool. Another example of very nice cartoony work. He's got some nice tips you can read over. Now we get into storytelling. Direct your characters, directing the eye. Be objective when necessary. Clarity is important when telling a story, and there's no better way to drive characters than by presenting them objectively, that is, as if we were in a theater watching them acting. This technique is called objective playing. Turn the viewer into a character. Yes, that's a nice point of view shot. It's more dramatic. You're really feeling it. Down shot, lack of power. That is true. An up shot can convey a threat. And then an up shot with up lighting definitely can. Watch for this stuff in movies as well. You'll see it a lot. Creating mystery to stabilize the viewer. So this is one. This is called a Dutch angle, where you're tilting the camera angle. He's tilted it to the right. Now, I've seen camera angles tilted to the left. But I swear, I wish I could remember where. I think it was in a movie book, camera angles in movies, that said that you should generally tilt the camera to the right like this, because that is more offsetting and unsettling and dramatic than the reverse, tilting to the left. So, of course, use the silhouettes. Composition rules. No clear subject. And there really isn't. And, you take these grid lines off, and you're kind of just looking in this area. So I guess the subject is just the sky right here, because even though he might not have known it, he's leading the eye that way with these shapes pointing this way, and then he's framing it here. So that's where. So if this was a sunset or sun up and full color, you could put the center of interest there with the bright light. Rule of thirds, definitely invite the viewer in. There are times when the rule of thirds is not applicable, either due to the frame size or simply because the context does not suggest it. Remember, it's just a tool. However, try to avoid centering the composition. Yeah, but see, he literally, if you take this square, right, edge, and break it into thirds, it's here and here. Well, you can do a rule of thirds, but still place something on the center horizontal, and that's what he did. This dog's head is in a third area, so that's fine. And then even this building is in a third area. So I kind of disagree with that, because every shape can be broken into thirds. I know what he's saying, but think about alignment. Obviously provide space. Don't cut through joints. You do not crop at knees. That's fine. Or ankles, elbows, things like that. Achieve continuity. This is about the 180-degree rule. I actually saw somebody post on Facebook saying that he knows the rule and he thinks it's a bunch of crap and it shouldn't even be something that's taught. I'm not going to tell you who the artist was. I didn't even comment. There was over 50 comments of other artists giving their opinions and stuff, and a lot of them seem younger and kind of agreed. And I'm sorry, I think in comics and in movies, there are ways to break the 180-degree rule that make it work. But for the most part, I don't think you should break the 180-degree rule. Whenever I see it done in a comic, maybe it's because of my background, it sticks out to me like a sore thumb, and I don't want to see it. I don't know. I don't know if that affects regular people or not when they're reading a comic. Talks about tangents. Got to avoid those. Thumbnails, of course. I thumbnail almost everything I do. Powering your scenes using frames, or use framing, sorry. Placing the viewer, establishing shot. Not sure why he calls this a long shot. I wouldn't call that a long shot, but, ground up, different things. Medium shot, which, yes, I agree, that is a medium shot. That's a long shot. That doesn't come off as a long shot to me. Maybe if she wasn't there, medium long shot. But props and staging with Mark Robinson. Very nice cartoony style here by Mark. I really dig this. So just talking about props and staging, different things, you know, a lot of it's body posture. Once again, line of action stuff. It all relates to each other. Oh, cool, more. We're down to the last 4, 250, using props to convey action still. Oh, man. Oh, he went over his, what? This is at 250. This goes to 252. So different things here. This guy's style is more cartoony, but it can still apply to anything. Oh, here he goes. So at the end, we get his biography. Mark's been doing it for 15 years at this point, so say around 2000 with Vertigo. Now he says he's working a day job and moonlighting as a cartoonist at night. That's a shame. You'd think somebody, because this work is nice. Maybe I'll have to Google. Maybe he's back to working full time. Jason Chatfield. He's been a professional cartoonist for 12 years. He's from Australia. And the funny thing is, if I remember correctly, Jason Chatfield, I think, is the current president of the National Cartoonist Society. I could be wrong. But this is nice because he goes into, first time in the book, comic strip stuff. So that's cool. Some nice tips in regards to comic strips. Valuable resources, social media, cameras, mirrors, search the web for backgrounds, study anatomy, read comics. I mean, I basically agree with all that stuff. And then we just get to the end of the book. It does break down here the pages the guest artists are on. No social links or anything, though, unfortunately, for them, but that's okay. You can do a quick Google and find them. This has been the book look. Oh, this was published by Barron's. There you go. Of Whoosh. 250 plus ways to get motion in your drawings. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me on this book look. Your reminder, this drops, this is now Tuesday morning when you're watching, which means there's less than a week to go in the Kor-Drath campaign. By the way, I don't have them to show. Did I mention the shirts are in? So Dennis and I are going to be mailing out shirts this week to you backers that got shirts. As mentioned before, oops, sorry about that. Every backer gets these 5 mini prints, 4 character cards. These are my personal ones. That's why they're a little dinged up, because I've been showing them and stuff. Beautiful stats on the back for every character, so you can play them in different role-playing games. You get the map of the Shattered Reach. You can still get yourself the Kor-Drath mini print for $10 and the Lilith trading card for $5. Free shipping. If you're like, I just want the card, it's $5. I'll put it in a nice little protective card sleeve, slap it in the mail for you. I'll pick up that whole, what's a stamp these days? 40 cents. So there you go, guys. Thank you for joining me. I'll catch you next week with another book look. Until then, take it easy. Bye-bye. AndySmithArt.com. Like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, leave a thumbs up. It all helps the algorithm.